Hello, my name is Bonnie Klamm. I'm a scientist at Los Alamos National Lab in New Mexico. I'm currently taking the course Conservation in Wildlife and Veterinary Medicine online through Purdue. So today I just want to share some things I've learned on the effect that your pets have on wildlife. So to start, this presentation is just meant to spread awareness so that we can all be better pet owners and better stewards of this earth. I am a pet owner myself. I have two black cats and two reptiles as well. Here I have Mr. Wednesday and Coffee Bean. They both enjoy watching the birds outside. Here's a video of Mr. Wednesday trying to catch that bird at that bird feeder. But they can enjoy the wildlife, safely from indoors. These are both indoor cats. And common wildlife that we do see in our area are, of course, songbirds, owls, chipmunks, rabbits, raccoons, skunk. We do get some coyote, lots of deer, some fox. We do get bears, cougars, and bobcats. And so for their safety and mine, we keep them indoors. And then here's just a little picture on the left hand showing cougar prints, fresh cougar prints in the snow. You can also see raccoon prints, and the neighbor's cat also came to visit. And so just showing, we do get a lot of visitors, wildlife visitors here, and we weren't sure the order of sequence of events here. Maybe the neighbor's cat came first, maybe the raccoon came second, maybe a cougar was interested in the scent, unsure, but we do get lots of wildlife here. So to start, I want to talk about cats. Both house cats, domestic and feral, kill billions of birds every year. In the United States alone, they kill between 1.3 and 4 billion birds, but the majority of this is due to unowned cats, so feral cats. They kill from everything from birds to mice, rats, rabbits, reptiles, voles, small animals. And so what I found interesting was there's a study that tracked, over 900 house cats in their neighborhood, outdoor cats, just to track where they would go. And from this figure here on the bottom right, it showed that these three cats, as an average, stayed pretty close to home. They stayed within a block or two of their house. And what this tells us is that their impact is very concentrated since they're only going in a small area. So even if your cat brings home just one bird or two birds, a month, that adds up very quickly when you think about how concentrated that can be. So why should you care? There's lots of reasons. The big one being, cats can contract diseases or parasites from wild animals, things like fleas, rabies, distemper is one, heartworm, all kinds of worms, mites, ticks, lice, things that you want to keep your cat away from. You can have injuries with wildlife encounters. So, we get predators around our house, as I showed, and we want to make sure that our cats don't have any interactions with, the wildlife, raccoons or skunks or cougars even. You have decreased wildlife viewing. If you're a bird watcher, if your cat is constantly catching the birds, you're not going to have as much wildlife to view. Cats may attract other predators as well, and this is for your safety. Like I showed the prints of the house cat coming up, and then the raccoon and the cougar, maybe that cougar was attracted to the scent of that house cat, and I am not going outside with a cougar. So it's for your safety as well. So what can you do? I'm not going to tell you that you can't have outdoor cats. But there are some things that you can do to help. There is a study, I think this was in England, from a few hundred house cats, and they showed that just by feeding high protein food to your cat can decrease the number of prey that they bring home. Having daily play, so just make sure you have 10 minutes out of your day to just play with your cat, which you should as a good cat owner anyways. And then bird-friendly, colorful collars are another one. So I have some images here. This is a purple collar with a bell, so bells also help. Cat bibs, I'm not sure what the reviews are on this one. I'm sure a lot of cats might not particularly like the bib. But there's also these Bird Be Safe collars. They're very vibrant. I actually purchased one, and it just fits around your around the cat collar, and then you put it on. So I think it kind of helps them from getting it snagged as well. So moving on to dogs. Dogs are the third worst human-introduced predators. This is being after cats and rats. Here I have a figure showing the world, regional concentrations of threatened species impacted by domestic dogs. And so here in the United States, it's not nearly as bad, but you can see heavy impact in the South Americas and Indonesia area. And so you might be thinking, oh, my dog doesn't harm, he doesn't chase anything. But there's a lot more to it than just predation or the killing aspect. There's disturbance, so just going for walks, you may be disturbing wild animals. There's disease transmission, competition for resources, and then hybridization, so breeding with different species. Something I found interesting was that dogs disturb twice as much wildlife than humans. So just thinking about displacement, one of the bars on that chart I just showed. So the presence of dogs causes most wildlife to move away, either temporarily or permanently, and this can reduce the functionality of the habitat to wildlife. So here are a few examples. In Chicago, they showed that migratory songbirds are much less abundant in yards with dogs. And I thought that was interesting. If your dogs are barking or chasing at birds or the like, that bird is less likely to find that a good home or resting area because they'll feel threatened. There's been a reduction in bird diversity and overall number of birds in woodlands where dogs were walked, just simply walked, and this is in Australia. Lower deer activity near trails, specifically in areas where dogs are allowed. And I'll show this on the next slide, but this can extend to 100 meters for deer. Bobcats also get nervous where dogs are present. And just the scent of domestic dogs can repel beavers, deer, elk, and lots of other wildlife. And so, if your dog's chasing birds or chasing other wildlife, you might think it's harmless, especially if they don't catch them. But it can do some ecological damage. Analogy I can think of is if you live in a dangerous neighborhood where maybe you yourself and your family haven't been harmed, but you see suspicious activity outside, you'll want to move out of that neighborhood. And it's kind of the same analogy for wildlife. If they feel threatened and don't feel like they can have their young there, then they are going to move. And so here's a figure that I mentioned I would get to. It's just showing the impact of hikers alone versus with a dog. And so in the center of this red dot here is, would be like you walking along this trail. The green arrow here, the short one, shows the impact that you have without a dog. So your scent, the noise you make, what you leave behind, it can impact about 150 feet off the trail. But with a dog on leash, this is on leash, it can extend up to 280 feet. So there's a lot more impact being done just walking your dog in the woods. So why should you care? Similar reasons for cats. Big one being they can contract diseases, parasites. Similar lists that we saw before. If your dog is a chaser, it's very easy for them to get lost while chasing their prey. And then you may have injury with wildlife encounters. So here's a picture of a dog that sadly saw a porcupine. So you have all the quills stuck in him. This dog says just got a bath after a skunk encounter. And then here you see a very excited dog wanting to chase this bear. Living in New Mexico, we do have lots of bears, and it's very important to understand how to control not just yourself or your kids, but also your pets if you do encounter bears. They can be very dangerous. And likewise, risking your owner's safety. If your dog decides it wants to chase a bear, that can be very dangerous for you as well. And again, decrease wildlife viewing, especially if your dog is chasing out rabbits or birds, squirrels, anything like that in your backyard. So what can you do? The big one is train your dog to recall and reward them with food or play. Redirect their attention, teach them to wait, train them to stop pulling when they encounter other animals. That can be a very big one, and it's not just good for wildlife, but also, in the dog park, you want to be able to control your dog better. Having your dog in a fenced yard can also help. Keeping them on a secured leash when outdoors is always a good idea. Daily play, it can help with their energy levels. They'll be less excitable to chase something when they have your attention to play. And then minimize contact with wildlife. And so maybe you're thinking, I don't go out and find wildlife, but you may leave out dog food, you might leave out cat food, you might leave out bird feeders, or garbage, or compost piles even, and those can all attract animals, such as raccoons, skunks, bears, any kind of predators like that. They'll be interested if you leave food out. And we have seen issues here in New Mexico. Some people have left dog food out and the bears will find it. Bears are very smart and they will keep coming after it. Even if you take it away, they know that you had it. And so be very careful and mindful of what you put out. And so just to overview, cats and dogs have caused extinctions of several animals, and this is not good. We are responsible for our pets' actions. As pet owners, this is our duty. And if your pet causes damage or injuries to other people, animals, or property, you can and will be held liable. I'm not saying that, but it is the definition of being a pet owner. You are responsible. And so it's not just, play and belly rubs to be a good parent. Here I have this quote down below. An irresponsible pet owner may forego getting their animals licensed, trained, vaccinated, sprayed, neutered, and thus endangering their dog's life and others in the community, including wildlife. And so, here's a picture of this cat. He thinks he's going to go after this bald eagle. As you know, bald eagles in the United States are very protected. So this could be a very bad situation for everybody. Things like these outdoor cat condos are also great. And like I said, training will help a great deal. So thank you for listening. I hope you've learned something. I'll see you later.